In today's video, we're going to look a little bit into animating your cameras for better results in your animations, so stay tuned. Hey guys, my name is Eon and welcome to my Start Animating YouTube channel, the channel that is specifically aimed at everyone that is new to animation, and if that is you, welcome, you are at the right place. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also click on that little notification bell so that you can get notified every week when I upload a brand new video. Now today I want to look a little bit into animating your camera. I've seen a lot of times, and this is something I've had to learn over time myself, is sometimes you can have a great animation, you have a great story, everything is perfect, but then the camera is being used incorrectly, and that kind of takes away from your story or your animation. And I want to share with you something that I've actually a story. Okay, so if you know that sitcom, that comedy show, The Office. Okay, now in The Office, they use a specific camera technique. I'm sure if you've watched the show, you'll know what I'm talking about, where the cameras aren't on tripods. So the camera, there's some movement to the camera. They zoom in, zoom out. So the camera is almost active the whole time. It's moving, it's zooming in, it's zooming out, the whole time, the whole show. And a while back here in South Africa, when that camera technique just started out, I'm not sure what was the first show that started this, but I know The Office kind of made it quite popular. I don't know if The Office was the first show that used that camera technique, but there was a show in South Africa, Afrikaans show. I'm not going to mention the name of the show, but what happened was this show incorporated this camera technique into the show because, hey, it is a new technique, and it's almost as if they wanted to show the South African public that they are with the times, and they are also using this camera technique and just show how awesome they are as a production company. So they've used this camera technique in the show. The problem was it backfired completely. And this was a massive lesson for me as a someone that does TV shows and also with my animations, because what did they do wrong? Why did this camera technique became so popular and is being used in so many shows and movies, but then a South African production house uses the same camera technique and it flops. It didn't work. What happened? What did they do wrong? Well, a few things. Okay, so the first thing was that The Office, for example, is a 20 minutes show, excluding all the ads in between, where this show was an hour long. Okay, so now you can imagine your viewers are sitting and watching the show, and for a whole hour this camera is moving. So what happened was the viewers couldn't watch the show for that long because they started to feel motion sickness because of the camera. It was just too long. They couldn't sit and watch an hour show with the camera moving. It was just too long. So that was the first mistake. The second mistake is they kind of overdid it. They wanted to show the public that they are incorporating this new technique, and so they kind of overdid it, and they didn't do it as subtle as The Office did it. So you can now imagine they've overdone the movement of the camera and the zoom in and zoom out, and they've done it for an hour instead of 20 minutes, and it was just too much. And the final reason why it didn't work is it didn't suit the story. If you look at The Office, the whole purpose of that camera movement is they wanted to create a feel, and that is the part of the storytelling of The Office, is they wanted to create a feel where even the actors, the characters, know the cameras are there. You'll see them interact with the camera. So the whole idea of the storytelling of The Office is the viewers must know the camera is there. They feel like it should be there. It is just part of the storytelling. Where this other Afrikaans show is a drama full of action, not really action, but it's a drama. So it didn't suit the story. And so that really gave me a massive lesson of the importance of using your camera correctly, especially even with animation. Now, I have 2 rules when it comes to animating your camera for inside your animation project. I have 2 rules. And I just want to share it with you guys today. The first rule is you only move or animate the camera if you have to. For example, if you've got a character walking or a group of characters walking, then obviously you want your camera to follow your characters, because if the camera doesn't follow them, the characters is going to walk out of screen. So then obviously you need to animate your camera so that it follows your characters. Okay, so that is what I mean about you animate your camera because you have to. If you don't animate your camera, your characters is going to walk out of the scene. So you need the camera to follow your characters. Okay, so that's my first rule. You only animate your camera when you have to. Okay, the second rule, and I'm going to show you an example here, is you animate your camera when it helps to tell the story. Okay, so let me quickly show you here. Okay, I'm inside iClone and I've already animated here, but here you'll see there's this girl character. I've just selected a basic pose for her. So I didn't do any animation or anything. I've only animated the camera. Okay, so here's a character, and I've just added a pose onto her just for the sake of this video, so that she's not in a frame pose or a T pose, just a basic pose. Okay, and then if I'm going to press play, watch what's going to happen, and you'll see how this can help tell a story. Okay, so I'm going to press play, and now it shows there's someone behind her. Okay, so now you can see that by animating the camera, it helps to tell the story. It really helps to sell it. All of a sudden, it adds to the story. Now, what just shows a innocent girl, now all of a sudden, with the pan of the camera moving, it shows someone standing behind her, and it adds to the story. Okay, so that is my 2 rules when I animate the camera. The first rule is I have to animate or move the camera. I have to animate the camera. I have no choice. Then I animate it. And my second rule is, does it add to the storytelling? So when you animate your camera, always ask yourself, when I zoom in, what is the purpose of my camera zooming in at this stage? Is there a purpose? Does it help to tell the story? Do I have to do it because my character's moving further away, so I need to zoom the camera in? Or what's the reason behind me zooming in my camera at this specific point? If there's no reason, don't do it. Okay, that is my rule of thumb. If there's no reason to animate my camera, I don't animate my camera. I leave it. If you feel like you zoom in slowly, but not too obvious, just slowly closer to the face, and you find that it helps to add suspense to the story, well, there's your reason. It adds suspense, then do it. But if there's no reason for your camera to pan or to zoom in or zoom out, if there's no specific reason for it, don't do it. And that is my rule of thumb. So that is just how I animate my cameras. The 2 rules that I apply: I animate my camera when I have to, and I animate my camera if it helps to tell the story or create an emotion. There must be a reason why I animate my camera. Now there's a lot of other things you can dive into, like for instance cinematography, storytelling through cinematography. That is something completely different. I'm not talking about camera placement and how you can tell story with camera placements and angles and all of that. Like I say, that is cinematography. I'm only talking about animating your camera movements. That is what I'm basically talking about today. So if you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments below. How do you use the camera? Is there something that I've missed? Is there a specific rule that you use when it comes to animating your cameras? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And make sure if you've liked this video, hit the subscribe button. Hit that like, that thumbs up. It really helps the YouTube algorithms. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. So guys, that is it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video next week. God bless and happy animating.